Hello, what I'd like to do is show you to do piped flowers. So I'll start with blossoms. I've got different equipment. I've got a flower nail. These are quite easily made. If you haven't got, you could use a proper nail, or you can use a cocktail stick pushed into a cork. That works as well. Paintbrush, piping bags. I've got some film. Now this film needs to be cut into roughly 2 centimetre squares, and we pipe onto this film to prevent the rylosine sticking to the nail, and then you can put it to one side, and you can put the once they're dry you can pull them off the film and use them. So I've got a number of film there. I've got a palette knife as well. I've got some rylosine which has been made to piping consistency. So I'll start with a pink. It's quite nice for blossom flowers. So I've got a piping bag, and I've got a 57, which is a small flower nail. I'm just going to fill my bag. So that needs to be piping consistency because it needs to hold the shape of the flower. There's no glycerine in it because I want it to dry quite hard, so that I can peel it off and place it on a cake. The other colour I'm going to use is green, and I'm going to use a number 1 tube for this. So I'll just use a spruce green, small tube, and it needs a small amount of rylosine. So always keeping my bags covered up, the tips of my bags covered up as I'm working. Now the flower nail, the flower tube, the petal tube, as you can see, if I can bring it over here you might see better, it's wider at the bottom and thinner at the top. So the thickness of the bottom is going on the inside of the nail as you're working. So I'm just going to put a piece of the film on, a little dot of rylosine, put the film on. Always clean the tubes as you go. Find a comfortable spot and then twizzle the nail, the tube until it's in the position that you want it to be in. So I'm going to pipe. So I'll just show you what I'm aiming for. I'm aiming for a 5-petal flower. So I've got 3 petals there, 4, 5. And with your paintbrush, just tap it down. So I've got a 5-petal blossom. So how do I do it? So piece of film before prevent it from sticking. The thicker part of the tube is going in the centre. The thinner part, where the edges of the petal is going on the outside. So I'm starting with that thickness in the middle. I'm then going to turn the nail as I'm piping. So I'm squeezing and turning, stop squeezing and come away. It's important that each petal you do, so squeeze, it's important you stop squeezing before you come away. If not, you'll end up with quite a large piece of petal sticking out. The position of them comes with experience. But I'm just piping them round in a circle. So I've got 4 petals on there. My last petal is going over the top of that first petal. And then just use your paintbrush just to flatten them down a bit. So it's coordination, isn't it? It's piping at the same time as turning. So my right hand with the tube isn't doing much work. I'm only squeezing, but I'm keeping it quite still. So I'm squeezing, stop squeezing, come away. All the work is being done by the flower nail. 4, and the last one 5. I take a bit of practice. So the thick part of the tube is in the middle, the thin part is on the outside. 3, 4, 5. Now I'll finish this off with the number 1 green, and what I usually do is I'll place them on the board and then I'll pipe in the dots, but because I want you to see a little bit clearer, I'm going to do it in front of the camera. So I'm going to pipe little micro dots in the centre of my flower, and that represents the stamens. So just a selection of 5, 6 stamens in the middle. And then those flowers are going to stay there until they're dry, and then I'm going to take them off, peel them off, place them on